The Los Angeles Rams sitting at 4-5, back on the road this week. This time in New England. The New England Patriots sitting at 3-7. Game kicks off from Gillette Stadium at 10 a.m. Pacific time. 10 a.m. Pacific time. Make sure you're up early Saturday night. We maybe need to not get so crazy this time around as early 10 a.m. dude. That's so early. This game kicks off on Fox. Adam Amin, Mark Sanchez, Christina Pink on the call. And the zones here, yellow zones as far as the distribution goes, so not a lot of areas, all right? So it's a great weekend to call up some buddies, call up some Rams fans, even some opposing fans. Maybe you got some fans, maybe you got a friend who's a Jags fan, and then there's like a Seahawks fan in there, and then like a Bengals fan. Just get together, dude. Go out and have some fun. Toss back some brews at one of your local bars, man, and catch this game because it's going to be a good one. I feel it in my bones. If you're going to be there, by the way, mid-50s for this game. Could see 60s by the end of the game. Sunny all day with a few clouds making an appearance for you bettors. Rams are -4.5, -230 on the money line, and our over-under sitting at 44.5. Pants picks for this one. So we do have, we will be rocking the white jersey for this one, meaning those Patriots will be in the blue jerseys. And we've got our pants picks here. I'm going Royal, Peyo's going Royal, and Rams House is going Soul. I think Rams House is just trying to give us a chance here, man, because I'm getting absolutely smoked on the pants picks. I'm doing a terrible job, but it's a fun game that we played that got a little bit less fun this year because the Rams now put it out not just 24 hours out, because that was kind of the point. And now they give it to us super early, usually on Thursdays. So by the time you see this, we usually know. But you know what? That's okay. We make our picks either way. And I will tell you, we don't ever make our picks after the thing has been announced, all right? I will say we're very good about that. All right. Drop your pants picks, though, as, of course, Rams and white jerseys for this one. Injuries and, well, no, not injuries. We're not going to talk about injuries for this one. Injuries mainly because we don't know yet, all right? I have it here. My note is that I want to talk about injuries every week, but it's Wednesday. We just get the initial injury report for this one, so not a lot to get into. We do know that Rob Havenstein may not play in this game. In fact, he's kind of trending not to play in this game, but he does still have a chance. Joe Noteboom is dealing with some stuff as well, so we'll see how his week kind of shakes out. But I would anticipate that Steve Avila and Jonah Jackson will be taking it down on the offensive line as well. But the history of this matchup, this will be the 16th all-time meeting between these two. 2 Super Bowls against the Patriots, both losses for the Rams, unfortunately, and both played on February 3rd. That's a bad day in Rams land, man. Bad day in Rams land. Rams, though, they did win the last meeting. That was in 2020. Before that, the Patriots had won the last 6. Before that, the Rams had won 4 straight. And in fact, the only time in this series that a team did not win at least back-to-back games was just the first 2. The Rams lost the first matchup. That was September 29th, 1974, 20-14. Second matchup, the Rams did win that one November 16th, 1980. That was a 17-14 win. Both those games played in New England. The last time the Rams played in New England, it was Goff versus Brady. But the last time the Rams played the Patriots at all, it was Goff versus Cam Newton. The first game for the Rams with Matthew Stafford holding it down at the quarterback spot. Stafford is 1-1 all-time against the Patriots, averaging 263 passing yards. One was 262, one was 264, so that average was super easy to find. Big brain in it over here. He also has just 2 touchdown passes against the Patriots. It was in his most recent game, had 2. His first one in 2014 did not have any touchdown passes against the Patriots. And this is also the first time the Rams will be facing head coach Gerard Mayo as the head coach of the New England Patriots. So kind of what we're watching here, Rams coming off of a rough offensive outing, just a rough day all around. Just didn't really seem that we were in our rhythm, especially on the offensive side. Defense did play really well, but offensively, there was just no rhythm to it, and it did feel a little bit like a lot of game planning stuff. When you have Matthew Stafford throwing almost 50 passes and Kyron's only running the ball 15 times, it's easy to spot. I mean, the discrepancy there is very obvious, and it shouldn't take any Rams fan who has been watching this team under Sean McVay a whole lot of detective work to figure out why their offense couldn't get into rhythm when that's the case. We need to have that balance, obviously, but this does tend to happen. I think that Sean McVay does tend to get a little bit pass happy, and then he needs to catch it. So hopefully that's what he's doing literally right now. As I'm talking to you right now, maybe he's in there and he's like, okay, we got to run there. Maybe that's what's happening, man. But going into that game, the vibes are high, maybe too high. Great chance for the Rams to not let last week turn into a full-on midseason skid, as if the Rams were to lose to the Patriots, losing back-to-back games against AFC teams who are very much behind you in standings and rankings and all that stuff, that would be pretty rough. And then, of course, then you would come home against the Philadelphia Eagles, who I think are overperforming their talents, but that's, neither here nor there. We'll kind of talk about that next week. But New England and then home against Philly, these two games are big, and it will tell us where the team is at. Not necessarily where I think that this team is going, but it will tell us where we're at, because coming off of a game like we had against the Miami Dolphins, ideally you would see this team bounce back in a big way and kind of understand that, like, hey, last week we were not on. But if you lose this game as well, then you pair these two in, and now that's not just a standalone thing. Now you have two games that you're dealing with. But as you kind of look at that, at these games as a grouping, I think that ultimately we'll see the Miami Dolphins game as a little bit of a blip. That was a speed bump. It's like, man, probably should have won that game, but also probably should have beat the Packers, probably should have beat the Bears, probably should beat the Cardinals. So we're seeing that a lot already, but also beat the Vikings, who we didn't think that we would beat the Niners, who we maybe didn't think we'd beat. Like, teams like that, we've played some really good games, but we just got to get that consistency, and the offensive line getting healthy. It's going to need some time to get its rhythm back. And I don't think that we need to start Bo Limmer again or Justin Dittich or anything like that. I think we just need these guys to get into their rhythm again, because it's been a while since they've played. And I think that we're forgetting that a little bit. But the Rams should beat the Patriots. By all measurements, the Rams are a better football team. That doesn't mean anything is guaranteed, and especially with such a young team and the offensive line still needing to gel and get some health, obviously nothing is guaranteed. But let's take a look at the matchup in this one, as the Rams offense going against the Patriots defense. The Rams offense about middle of the road, as they are 17th in the NFL right now, as the Patriots are the 19th total defense. Passing the football, the Rams top 10 unit, 8th in the league here, and the Patriots defense middle of the road, as they are 16th against the pass. Running the football, the Rams are 26th in the league, so definitely lower than we expect to be there, especially when you got the talent that the Rams have. 23rd ranked run defense, though, for the Pats. Points being put up, Rams putting up almost 21 a game. That's 20th in the league, and the Patriots are giving up 22. That is tied for 13th. Third down, 34.6% for the Rams offense. That's 25th in the league. And the Pats defense giving up 41.3. That is 22nd. So not necessarily killing it in any regard on the Patriots defensive side there. But I will say that the Rams offense, last week is not indicative of what this offense is capable of. And I'm, again, I'll just reiterate, surprised at how many people are just like, oh, our offense is dead. It's over now. Because I'm not on that train, man. I'm not there. It would take me multiple weeks in a row of seeing this offense not be able to get anything rolling at all for me to say that it's dead. And but come on now. It's Sean McVay, it's Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. Like, we've got players here, man. It was just a bad offensive game plan, and I firmly believe that. So the Rams coming off of a lame day on offense. Patriots defense is fine, but not exactly explosive. The Rams do have the opportunity to show that last week does not define the season. And it feels like a lot of fans are letting it define the season, which is fine. Again, never going to tell you how to be a fan, all right? There's no wrong way to be a Rams fan. It's always awesome, okay? But I will say that I do think that we need to look at last week's game as not a game that tells us who this Rams team is. That's a team that we don't play very often. It's a coach that knows us pretty well as his time in San Francisco. So I just think we came in a little bit ill-prepared for that one. The Patriots defense, though, they do have solid players, but none of the names that really just jump off the screen to you. Yannick Ngakoue, they did just pick him up recently. I've always been a big fan of Ngakoue, but I don't even know how much he's really going to get in the game for this one. Best matchup on this, I'm going to go with Avila, Jackson, and Dotson against Devon Godcho and Daniel Ekuale, I think is what it is. The Patriots have some weird names, dude. They're testing me out here this week. That's fun, man. But Avila, Jackson coming off IR, they did seem a little bit rusty. The chances that either is benched in favor for Limmer or Diddich. I mean, I just don't see it. I just don't see that happening. They are the more talented players, so I anticipate that they'll just continue to get the reps there. But this isn't exactly the number one defensive tackle combo in the league, so maybe this is a good matchup to get some continuity rolling before a couple of really big NFC matchups that the Rams have the following couple of weeks here. 3 to see on the offensive side of the ball. We'll start with Davis Allen. No word yet on when Big Rig Higgs will be returning, but Davis Allen does seem to be the guy getting the reps right now, taking those reps from Colby Parkinson. Allen has played great in moments in his past, and maybe he just needs to get a little bit more time out there, get some sparks flying, man, because Davis Allen, he has had some incredible plays where he's shown sparks where we're like, hey, this could be a guy, man. This could be a guy, and this hasn't really caught on fully yet, but also for the most of this year, kind of banged up, dealing with Parkinson coming in, stuff like that, kind of buried in a little bit of a depth chart. Hunter Long was getting a lot of reps as well, so there's obviously all of that. 5 catches for 34 yards isn't anything too crazy. That's what he had last week. But in that game, nothing on the offense was too crazy. So how about we give Davis Allen a little bit of grace, as we can sit here and say 5 catches for 34 yards ain't nothing. But yeah, the offense didn't score touchdowns. So last week, not really indicative of what is up with this offense. Kyren Williams, K-Dub, up next. 46 pass attempts from Matthew Stafford, 15 rush attempts for Kyren. Tells you everything you need to know about last week in the Rams against the Miami Dolphins defense. McVay does tend to do this. He gets a little bit run heavy or pass heavy, and then he usually does correct. And usually the following week, we'll see a bit of a run heavy attack by the Rams and Sean McVay. Kyren, though, he was popping off some good runs, but between him and Corum had just over 4 yards a carry, but 17 run calls is just too few, I think, out of these guys, especially when you have an offensive line that's getting guys back from IR. You got to think that they want to get out there and just maul some dudes. So run the ball. Let them do the thing that they do, which is just blow some people back, man, and open up holes for the run game. So I think we need to see some more of that, get those guys into that rhythm. But especially when Matthew Stafford's rocking 46 pass attempts with 0 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked 4 times. I mean, at some point in the game, you got to be like, hey, we're going to run the ball. Like, hey, this drive, we're going to hit it pretty heavy on the ground. We're going to see what happens kind of thing, you know. But I would say look for the Rams to use Kyren a lot against the New England Patriots. Last one up on the offensive side, 3 to see, Puka Nacua. Nacua led the Rams last week with 9 catches, 98 yards, even with a solid stat line, though. It even felt like this connection wasn't even at its best. So that's unfortunate there. Maybe it's just the 5 incompletions that went towards Puka Nacua that's making me kind of think that it's like, this could be better. But it's just how some of those looked. And I'm guessing that 9, 10, and 17, they're going to improve their numbers from what we saw on Monday Night Football. The advantage here, you're only as good as your last game, so it's really hard to gauge this matchup. All right, so the Rams really feel like they have the advantage here, but will we see the same offense that we saw last week? If we do, then this is too even to call. It's too even to call, straight across. If the Rams can play, though, how we feel like they can play, I think they have the clear advantage. I think that the Rams, based on last week, that is not indicative of how this Rams football team plays football. I mean, that's just it. You know what I mean? So I think ultimately this feels like it's either going to be like the Rams lose 16-6 or like 16 to maybe 10 or something like that, or they're just going to win 42-10. I feel like there's not really any in between. It feels like it's going to happen that way. Verdict, though, I can't really answer right now. Going to need some press conferences as the week goes on. I want to gauge how this team is vibing right now, man. Based on Les Snead in the Sean McVay show, I would say we feel pretty good. I would say it's like, yeah, that's not who we are. Let's show up big this time. An opponent we should beat. So I would say that the vibes are probably going to be a little bit higher, but I do want to wait and see what Kupp's saying, what Stafford's saying, what Nakua's saying, these guys, and what those press conferences kind of look like. Let's flip over to the other side of the football here. We're going to go with the Pats offense versus the Rams defense. Pats offense is dead last in total yards. The Rams defense 22nd. So definitely a solid advantage there. Passing the football, dead last again for the Patriots defense and 22nd for the Patriots offense and 22nd for the Rams defense. Running the rock, the Patriots have the 22nd rush attack. The Rams 19th in stopping the run. Points being put up 16 for the Patriots offense. That's 31st. You mean to tell me there's a team putting up less than 16 points a game? What is this? This is the NFL, dog. What are we doing out here? The Rams, though, giving up a little over 24. That's 22nd. And third down, the Patriots are converting 34.6. That's tied for 25th. And the Rams are giving up 37.3. That is 14th. Didn't really give up a lot against Miami, especially yards-wise. So 238 in total yards given up, 67 rushing yards, and only 171 passing yards. So defense did have a good day. But when you don't score any touchdowns and your kicker is going 5 for 6, I mean, chances are you're just not going to be really in that game like you want to be. What was it? Oh, man, what year was that? I'm going to be so mad at myself. I can't think about this. It's probably 2006, or was it 2002? Well, it must have been 06. That the Rams and Broncos played in week 1, and Jeff Wilkins hit 6 field goals, and the Rams won. I think that was 18-12, if I'm not mistaken. It was a weird game. But the Rams ended up winning that one. No touchdowns for that one. But that can't happen all the time, man. That's a long time ago as well. But really, this front is still progressing really well. These guys just keep getting better. That's absolutely awesome to see. Secondary felt like it was missing its swag a little bit, but going against a rookie, Drake May, he's certainly better than Brissett, by the way, but by how much? I mean, I think it's not anything too crazy, at least quite yet, but going against a rookie quarterback, I like our secondary in this matchup for sure. Drake May, though, he is progressing. He is getting there, but I think he's just going slower than Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix, you know. But I think like he and Caleb Williams are kind of on like a little bit of a slower progression, which is fine. Some guys just take a little bit longer to progress. That's not a big deal. Playing solid ball, though, especially early in his career. For what he is, which I feel like is a rude comment to say. I'm not trying to be rude. But for who he is, I think he's playing just fine. And I do expect him to get better. Ramondre Stevenson, he can always turn into a problem, though. Rams run D has improved over the last, since the bye week or so. So maybe we'll see that. Going to be a great matchup. Speaking of, best matchup in this one, I'm going Omar Spates and Christian Roseboom against Ramondre Stevenson. Spates and Roseboom are turning into a nice little ILB combo for this Rams defense. The inside linebacker coach, Greg Williams, I think he's doing an awesome job. Roseboom has really kind of come into his own these last few weeks. I've kind of been the supporter for him, but obviously I'm also not blind. I don't have, Roseboom colored glasses on all the time where it's like, yeah, I can see that he's doing a bad job in certain games and stuff, but I also see the potential. And what we've seen out of him the last 2 games is kind of what I've always felt like he can do. He wasn't, but I felt like it was like, he's there's something there, man. Like, this dude's good. And it's kind of coming together. We'll see how much consistency he can have with that. Spates, though, doing an awesome job as well. And I guess Spates was on Rams Revealed. I haven't checked it out yet. Hopefully I'll get a chance to do that tonight. But I guess that JB kind of like let it be known, like, the fans love you, dude. And he was like, I guess he didn't know about that. So that's really exciting. I can't wait to watch that and see, because the Rams Revealed is the best thing that the Rams put out. So that's going to be awesome. Definitely be checking that one out. But they'll need another day of showing some progress against a really good back. And if the Rams can just have one of those days where it's just kind of shut down that offense, this feels like if the Rams are going to shut somebody out this year, it's probably this game. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I'm not saying go put money on that or anything, but it's possible, I suppose. 3 to see on the defensive side. We're starting off with Christian Roseboom, man. Christian Roseboom coming in he's coming in the first time. All right, so this, I usually try to make these in my brain, they're a little bit ranked out. Like, I talk about the person I want to talk about first for a reason. Christian Roseboom, he's coming in first because he has been playing so well as of late. He's been playing these last 2 games, incredible ball out of Roseboom. Really cool to see. Stringing together some strong performances. It's cool to watch the fan base kind of turn on him, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of cool to see fans be like, okay, Roseboom, I see it. I see it. I think it's kind of fun. It's fun to see it this way and not just the opposite way where it's like, oh, this guy sucks now. Get him out of here, But it's like, hey, this guy's actually, he's playing decent. So that's kind of fun to watch. It's fun to watch the shift in the fan base. Less missed tackles. He's getting off blocks better, playing well in coverage. Dude's balling right now. It's good to see, man. Next up, Quentin Lake, Captain Q. He's really the anchor of the secondary right now, especially even when John Johnson returns. Captain Q is kind of that guy, but that'll be a nice veteran addition to the secondary for sure. But Lake, he flies around, man. He's making some good pops out there, which I love to see. And I'm looking at him to have a good day against a rookie, because he's going to be tasked to kind of know what Drake May is seeing in that defense and adjusting for it. Jared Verse, you thought I was going to leave him off of here? Absolutely not, dude. The defensive rookie of the year, still killing it, still absolutely fun to watch. The strip, sack, and recovery versus Tua, absolutely awesome. The look in his eye, terrifying. Jared Verse is a menace. I'm so glad that Jared Verse is on our team. Because if Jared Verse wasn't on our team, I'd probably hate him. But because he's doing this stuff to everybody else for us, big fan. Big fan. Because I also think about that of like, if we had to play Aaron Donald, probably would have hated that guy. You know what I mean? But it's awesome when they're doing it for us. But yeah, that look in his eye, man. All I could think of when I saw his eyes all big running with the football is like, that man is a menace. It's like he needs to be stopped a little bit. Or not, or just unleash him, dude. Be like, you know what, Jared? Kill somebody today. Just see what happens, man. See what happens. He's well on his way to being elite if he's not already there. Rams absolutely nailed it with this pick. And to have the first round pick since Jared Goff be Jared Verse, and he is already this kind of guy, absolutely love to see it. Look at the advantage here. Pat's offense is overall pretty rough. Even with the young squad on the defense, the Rams just outmatched the Pats on talent level, I think. Again, that doesn't guarantee anything, obviously. But going against a rookie quarterback does make it feel like we're at least even in the experience world. But again, I just feel like the Rams just have the talent advantage against the New England Patriots. Coming off last week, though, I guess the defense will be pretty on this week. I feel like we'll be flying around, because it feels like one of those things where Shula could go into the Rams defense and just be like, you know what? Hey, offense didn't score last week, and neither did we. We scored 4 straight weeks, and we didn't score either. But if we could have scored a touchdown, maybe that could have been a tie game. And I feel like that's going to be kind of the energy of this Rams defense of like, not that they don't trust the offense to do it, but like, okay, well, we can score 2 though, because we did 4 games in a row, so let's just go do that then, you know. But I think clear advantage here. That's the worst defense, the worst offense in the NFL. The Rams do have the advantage in this one. Connections here. Former Rams on the Patriots. We have linebacker O'Shawn Mathis. He is a backup there, and the special teams coordinator Jeremy Springer. Former Patriots who are on the Rams. We've got Connor McDermott, tight ends coach and pass game coordinator. Nick Cayley, and senior offensive assistant Jerry Shoplinski. Jeez, dude. I say that name every week because he's been everywhere. He's coached on every team, I think, and with everybody in the NFL, but I screw his name up every time. And offensive line coach Ryan Wendell, former of the Patriots. Some NFL connections, not too many good ones here. We're kind of running thin on the real cool NFL connections. But Jacoby Brissett, the backup quarterback out in New England, played in Indy with the inside linebackers coach Greg Williams that we talked about, in Miami with tight end Hunter Long, in Washington with Cam Curl, Joey Sly, and Antonio Gibson were also there, and he played in Cleveland with John Johnson, also Austin Hooper, Sione Takitaki, and Alex Van Pelt also there. So Brissett's been everywhere. He's been more places than Johnny Cash, dude. It's pretty impressive. Chase Blackburn, I like this one a lot, though. Chase Blackburn, he was a linebacker for the New York Giants, while the special teams coordinator, who's now an assistant special teams coach, Tom Quinn, was the special teams coordinator for New York. So I think that's kind of cool. Our special teams coordinator is basically going against his special teams coordinator as when he was a player. I think that's really cool. College connections for you. Cooper Kupp played at Eastern Washington with wide receiver Kendrick Bourne. Jared Verse and Braden Fisk played at FSU with tight end Jaheim Bell. Steve Avila and Trey Tomlinson played at TCU with O'Shawn Mathis and safety Mark Perry. Byron Young played at Georgia Military College with defensive back Marsalis Dial. And Blake Corum played at Michigan with quarterback Joe Milton. Joe Milton also played at Tennessee with Jalen McCullough and Byron Young. Jordan Whittington played at Texas with Brendan Schuler. Not going to talk about Texas without mentioning my Aggies. Bobby Brown played at A&M with guard Layden Robinson, and Omar Speights played at Oregon State with cornerback Alex Austin. And let's see here. So some milestones that we're kind of keeping our eyeballs on, or that's this one. I went light this week. All right. So Matthew Stafford, he did pass Kurt Warner for 5th most completions in Rams history. He is basically a top 5 Rams quarterback of all time, and I feel pretty good saying that. There is, like, the touchdowns is a little bit skewed. Yards, though, he's up there. So, I mean, he's sitting in the pocket there. And needs one more passing touchdown to pass Eli Manning, 10th most all-time in NFL history. And Cooper Kupp needs 1 touchdown reception to pass Elroy Hirsch for 3rd most in Rams history. Rams, Patriots, that game going down this Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific time on Fox. Be sure to check it on out and share this video and subscribe if you haven't, dude. Come on. You like this stuff. Fan